In this video, we will discuss about instance state. How many types of instance state? Stop instance, start instance, reboot instance, hibernate, and terminate. So there is five types of instance state. So one by one we discuss about it. First we select a VEC2. You will find public IP version 4 address, private IP address. If someone asks you among public IP and private IP, which one is your primary IP? Means among public IP address and private IP address, which one is your primary IP? Then the answer is primary IP is private IP. Primary IP is private IP. How? Just see the lab step, launch instance, right? And just move downward. I just explain why you say public IP is optional and private IP is primary. All answers should be explained by lab for better understanding. Just go to edit option under network setting. Just go to edit option and you see auto assign public IP enable and there is another option disable. So if you have a disable option and if you select a disable option then public IP never generated, and if you select enable option then public IP is generated. It means you have an option, either you want to generate a public IP or not. So public IP is optional. Based on these two options, you can say yes, public IP is optional. But private IP is your primary IP. Each time your private IP is generated. Now, second question is why public IP is dynamic in nature? Why public IP is dynamic in nature? The answer is when you stop the EC2, you find public IP disappears, and when you start an EC2 you find a new public IP appears that are different from old one, right? That are different from old one means each time a new public IP appears that are different from old one when you stop and start the instances. It means we can say public IP is dynamic in nature. Now question rise, if public IP is dynamic in nature and your public IP is associated with DNS and each time your public IP changes when you start and stop the instance, then how you can manage this? Means I want to say, for example, take a scenario, a customer want that their website should be displayed on cloud, right? What you do, you just create a EC2 step 1, step 2 you just install a IIS, step 3 you take a website of your customer and paste that file in C drive int pub www root folder, right? And give him a DNS name, and you know DNS name is integrated with your IP address. But it's here it is not necessary that client always run the EC2. Sometimes they want to stop it, right? Sometimes they want to stop it when they feel why we pay cost in the end of month there, then suppose they want to stop their EC2, their new public IP generated, and if user enter their DNS name but DNS name search and IP address and IP address are not available with because that IP address already changed, means message display your site cannot be reached. So what is the solution for that? Then the solution is elastic IP address. We will see this in our later video. Solution is elastic IP address. What is elastic IP address? Elastic IP address is a static public IP address. What is elastic IP address? Elastic IP address is your static public IP address, right? What is the elastic IP address? It is your static public IP address that are never changed. So see this step. First, go to instance state and stop instance. You just stop it and watch here. Watch here. Watch here. Just refresh. Successfully stop. Just reload this page from here also. Yes, easy to stop. There is no public IP address. Now start this one. Successfully started. Instances, you have to also check the instance statuses, right? Just refresh it. It's still pending. Wait some minutes. Sometimes it takes time, right? Right. This is 18133 means before this the IP address start with 3 and after a stop and a start operation you will find this one. Again we repeat this step, just copy this IP address and paste here, right? This is your IP address. Now again we stop this, right? We just stop. Wait 1 minute. This is a free account, no? Means you have to wait 1 minute, 2 minutes for different operations, right? So don't worry about it. Just refresh the page. This is currently stopping. Select this one. There is no any public IP, right? Previous one is 18. 1.133.31.105. Now start this one. Successfully started. Just refresh. You can refresh from here and here both. Public IP, new public IP generated. Paste this. That is different from old one. Means public IP dynamic in nature, right? Now this is not a real-time practical scenario when your public IP continuously change. So the solution is go with elastic IP address, right? So start and stop your public IP is changing. For start and stop, your public IP is changes. But if you reboot your instance, your public IP never change. Your public IP 13.42.55.235, right? I have already pasted 13.42.55.235. Now we reboot it. We just reboot it. Successfully reboot means restart. Reboot means restart. When you reboot, you will find public IP never changes. Means in the case of reboot, there is no any effect on public IP, but in the case of start and stop, your public IP changes. Yes, running. Select same 13.42.555.55.235. 13.42.55.235. So when you reboot it, the public IP not changes. If you terminate your instance deleted permanently. If you terminate your instance or if you want to delete your instance, just terminate it. Just terminate it, right? Now question arises, there may be a possibility we can by mistake delete an instance or we can by mistake stop an instance. How we can prevent it? Means there may be a possibility by mistake we can stop it or we can terminate it. So how you can protect it? For this, just go to action and under instance setting, change stop protection and enable stop protection and just save. What I have to do, select a instance, select a instance, go in action under instance setting. If you want to stop protection, if then click on it. If you want terminate protection, then click on it and just enable. What happens when you enable it? After enable, if you want to terminate the instance or after selecting a stop protection enabled, if you want to stop an instance message display that your instance can't be stopped. Why? Because we protected it from terminate and stop. Just go with and stop instance. You will see the error. Fail to stop the instance. Right? Why? The instance, this is the ID of your instance, may not be stopped. Modify its display API stop instance attribute and try again. Right? Similarly, if you want to terminate message display, you can terminate it. Right? Fail to terminate an instance. Why? Because because termination protection is enabled. So in real time, your team leader do these things because, for example, they provides you some authorization to do some work on this instance, and by mistake if you delete it, then who is responsible for that? Your team leader. That's why your team leader protect it from a stop your the instances, protect it from termination of instances so that there is a less chance of mistakes. Now we just instance setting, change termination protection, enable, save. Right. So in next video I will perform another lab.